There comes a moment in every woman's life when she realizes something inside is changing. The life she once accepted no longer fits. The silence she once tolerated becomes too heavy. The dreams she once buried began to speak again. Across the world, women are questioning everything they were taught about who they are supposed to be. They are rebuilding, they are redefining, they are rising. Rooted in Rising Radio is where those conversations began. This is a space for truth, a space for courage, a space for women who are ready to reclaim their voice, their power, their purpose. Here we talk about healing, identity, business, faith, reinvention, and the real journey of becoming the woman you were always meant to be. If you're in a season of transformation, if you feel the pull toward something greater, if you know deep inside your spirit that you are meant not to play small, you are not alone. You are not behind. You are simply between seasons. Welcome to Rooted in Rising Radio, the sound of women rising.
They try to chain my fire down low, but flames don't bow. They only grow a spark inside, a voice to show the world my name is written bold. We rise like the sun in the sky. No fear, no lies, just truth in our eyes. We're queens, we shine. No crown we deny. We rise, let our spirits fly.
Well,
Good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Rooted in Rising Radio, our Saturday morning show. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. You guys, hopefully, we'll be able to get through the show because I am looking out the window right now in front of me, and the weather looks crazy, and the lights already start kind of blinking. So, hopefully, we'll get through the show today. Well, again, I want to welcome you guys to the Rooted in Rising Radio. As you can see, I am Coach Salita, and I'm here again. I love doing this. Look, I love doing this. I want to welcome anybody who's out there watching me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am over here in one others. I see your comments. I'm going to get over there. Let me see if I can do this. Because I'm over in my studio because I have two different sections in here. Hello, you guys. Hi, you guys. Yes, it is. It is definitely bad. So bear with me if I don't see your comment because I'm over on the other side. I'm inside the studio itself. So I have to watch out what I'm doing here. So bear with me. I'll see your comments. Thank you guys for hanging out. Don't forget, now, if it's not bad, we're going to do our show tonight also. Our Legacy Liftoff starts our new version because we gave everybody a break. So the Legacy Liftoff series will start back up tonight at 7:30. If you're available, please, please, please hang out. Some of you guys already got your workbooks. You already got your book that we're working out of. So if possible, if the weather holds up, we'll be doing that tonight. But I want to go ahead and try to start my Saturday morning show because I'm trying to do everything I said I was going to do. So so again, Rooted and Rising Saturday morning show, and we're going to have some discussion. We're going to have some music. Some of the music you probably heard already. It's on my radio station, which is Rooted and Rising Radio .airtime pro. Excuse me, .airtime pro. That's what it's called. You can go over there and listen to, I have talk shows over there. I have music, the whole 9 yards, music all over the place because I think it's so good to have music, right? So we're going to go ahead and get started and then we're going to take a small break. So, again, good morning, my beautiful souls, right? Welcome to the Rooted and Rising Radio. This space is where healing meets hard truth. The space where women are allowed to feel deeply, reflect honestly, heal openly, and rise fully. I'm so grateful you're here with me this morning. You guys, I'm sorry. I gotta have everything where I can see it. I'm sorry. Um, whether you're listening while making coffee, sitting quietly with your thoughts, sit, driving to work, healing from a heartbreak, rebuilding from exhaustion, or simply trying to find yourself again. I want you to know something before we begin. You're not alone in what you're feeling. Let me say that again. You are not alone in what you're feeling. And this morning's conversation is for women who have looked in the mirror. I told you I keep a mirror right here in front of me because I always have to look at me. I can look at everybody else and point fingers and say, oh, you're this, you're that. But I have to look at myself and say, am I okay? All right, we'll see how long this lasts, right? Again, wow. Welcome to the Rooted and Rising Radio Saturday morning show. It's raining. And the lights just went out and then they came back on, so we'll see. I apologize. It has nothing to do with me. So if the lights go out, I already told you guys it was going to do that. So let's go ahead and get started here. Um, so this morning's conversation is for women who have looked in the mirror and quietly whispered to themselves, I miss the woman I used to be. Not because she was perfect, not because she was skinny, not because she was much more prettier. She didn't have bumps in her face, her hair was longer. None of those things matter. Even the, the status that life was easier when she was the woman she used to be. Her finances were better, right? But because along the way, responsibility, survival, pain, motherhood, relationships, burnt out, grief, disappointments, and emotional exhaustion changed her. Mm, something to think about. The woman she used to be, she was much more carefree. We have to say that. She was much more in tuned and in depth to herself. She was more, she knew who she was. No problem with knowing who she was. I'm not saying all women did, but a lot of women were very sure of themselves because they didn't have anything to either indoctrinate her or make her like second guess herself. She didn't have all that because the person she used to be was, open, wide open. To the point, when I say wide open, I'm talking about to the point of the decision she made was for her, not anybody else. She didn't have to be responsible for anybody else. Responsibility was the first one. She didn't have children. She didn't have none of that. The exhaustion that we live through day in and day out of just trying to survive, just trying to get through things. She didn't have all that. But when all these things took place, they changed her. And many women, and this is part of also, I do the Substack Rooted and Rising podcast, and we're on uh, a series called The Things Women Are Never Allowed to Say. And this kind of ties into those discussions in that series. So many women are grieving versions of themselves nobody else even realized disappeared. Because if you didn't know, you know, prior to me being the person I am now, the motherhood, all the stuff, right? If you didn't know that that was me, and the other side of me was so much better to me. You know what I'm saying? When you, before all those things happen, I'm not saying motherhood is the most worst thing you could ever do. I am just saying there's certain parts of us that were different prior to becoming a mother. One of the discussions we had was talking about motherhood. Sometimes I regret motherhood. And motherhood is a big thing because motherhood changes us. Motherhood changes everything about us. We don't even realize it does, right? Um, So many women are grieving versions of themselves nobody else really realized disappeared. So this morning, almost this afternoon, we're going to be talking about identity lost, emotional survival, right? And what happens when women slowly lose themselves while trying to survive life, right? And you're listening to Rooted and Rising Saturday morning radio show right here on YouTube, right? And also on Facebook on Universal Collective Network, where every Saturday morning we come together for an honest conversation about healing, womanhood, emotional wellness, survival, self worth, spirituality, relationship reinvention, and rebuilding ourselves after life has tried to break us. Okay? Now, because this show is not about perfection, it's about truth. The kind of truth many women carry silently. The kind of truth that begins healing once spoken aloud. Because we have to understand that in order for us to move forward, right, we have to be able to heal. And a lot of people, it's not for everyone to want to do it right off the bat. I want to heal, I want to do that. No, it's not that. You take your time with the healing. So today's episode is very deeply personal for a lot of women who are going to be listening in, who are going to go back and watch this. Um, and I want you guys to really, really, really dig deep into this. I really want you to listen. If you can't do anything else, listen. Um, but before we go deep into this right now, I want to kind of get you some music going here. But, and I want to also leave this message to you guys.
Hello, my name is Salita, certified empowerment coach and founder of a space dedicated to helping women of color heal, grow, and rediscover their power. I help women who feel stuck reconnect with their confidence, purpose, and voice, because you were never meant to simply survive. You were meant to rise.
All right, I'm going to leave that with you. That's coming up. I'm excited about that. I am so excited about that. Coming up soon. That is our Parish Files segment. Um, and this comes from the things that I love doing, right? Which is writing. Um, that is coming up June 11th. Definitely stay tuned for my micro mini series of Southern versions of different things that go on, like murders, mysteries, and stuff like that. That's always been a thing of mine. So this comes from my version of the unsolved shadow murders of Louisiana. So we're going to be getting deep into that. I'm excited about that. You guys, like when I go quiet, you can guarantee you I'm in the lab doing something, okay? And I have been putting that book off for the longest. Not because I didn't want to do it, it's because I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this. How am I going to do this? And when I realized that, hey, look, I can do it. So I start working on it, and I've been working on it for a minute. Um, and I'm so glad I did. I really am so glad I did. I have to give myself an applause. So that's going to be rolling out because I'm not going to ever stop doing the things I like doing. So I want to go ahead and play.
Are we really gonna do this? You laugh, then you bite your lip. Have a drink on the table, have a promise we never said. My jacket on your shoulders, your head pressed into my chest. You say, I don't need a label, but your fingers won't let go yet. You trace circles on my head, like you're signing something big. Every line says maybe, but your eyes say this is it. Are we really gonna do this thing called love? Jump first, heart racing, hope it's deep enough. Are we really gonna name it? Say it out loud. This thing called love, cold love. Are we really gonna do this now? You list all the worst case stories, every ending it came too fast. I point at the open doorway, say we could always walk right past, but your keys drop in the bowl, shoes kicked off by the door. You say I'm kinda terrified as you pull me in once more. We're a question in the hallway, we're an answer in your grin. Every doubt says run away, every heartbeat says begin. Are we really gonna do this thing called love? Jump first, heart racing, hope it's deep enough. Are we really gonna name it? Say it out loud. This thing called love, are we really gonna do this now? What if it hurts and it hurts together? What if it fades and we fight to remember? What if it's real? You say, what if it's us standing here, still scared, still choosing trust? Are we really gonna do this thing called love? Jump first, heart racing, hope it's heart racing, hope it's deep enough. Right here, right now. This thing called love. Guess we're really gonna do this now.
There comes a moment in every woman's life when she realizes something inside is changing. The life she once accepted no longer fits. The silence she once tolerated becomes too heavy. The dreams she once buried began to speak again. Across the world, women are questioning everything they were taught about who they are supposed to be. They are rebuilding They are redefining. They are rising. Rooted in Rising Radio is where those conversations began. This is a space for truth, a space for courage, a space for women who are ready to reclaim their voice, their power, their purpose. Here we talk about healing, identity, business, faith, reinvention, and the real journey of becoming the woman you were always meant to be. If you're in a season of transformation, if you feel the pull toward something greater, if you know deep inside your spirit that you are meant not to play small, you are not alone. You are not behind. You are simply between seasons. Welcome to Rooted in Rising Radio, the sound of women rising.
All right, we are back. We are back again. Welcome to Rooted in Rising Radio's Saturday morning show with the storms and all, you guys. So we're going to try to get through this as smoothly as we can, right? And if the lights go out, that's fine. No big deal, right? So, as we were saying, because there are women listening right now there who no longer recognize themselves emotionally. We know that happens a lot. And you know what I've started since I've started this series over here and the series I started on the podcast on my Substack, I've been actually watching and looking at women's faces more than I used to. Because we go through our lives and we do our things and all. So I have been starting to really watch people when I'm out and about. And I particularly look at women. And look, think what you want, but I'm saying this because I'm thinking about in my head how watching women and their reactions is almost like not reading their minds, but you can see in the way they're dressed, how, what's going on with them. I saw a lady yesterday. I was at the grocery store and she had a baby on her arm. She had a little girl walking behind her. Then she had another little girl. And you could see in her face that she was tired. I mean, you can just, one thing about humans, we're not very well with hiding how we feel because majority of the time, whatever's going on inside is coming out. It's going to come out in the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, your hair, your makeup. It's going to come out how you're feeling inside. Even though we're taught to wear a mask, even though makeup is supposed to take away, that feeling or make you look a different way, lots of times people don't have time to put the makeup on. Lots of times people are so exhausted, they don't have the need and don't want to, and just don't feel like fixing themselves to the point. Not to say that makeup makes a big difference in how you feel. To some people it does, but other people look naturally beautiful, right? I'm not taking away from those either. Your expression is your expression. How you view things is how you view things. How you feel inside will come out. Do not ever think that how you feel inside won't come out, because it will. I promise you it will. If it hasn't yet, it will. Okay. So, women who used to laugh more, dream more, okay, rest more, create more, feel lighter. Yes, yeah. When we didn't have children, bills, right? Car notes, house notes, mortgage, rent, the whole 9 yards, even though mortgage and house notes are the same thing. Even though we didn't have that, we didn't have to go through our bank account and see, okay, I got to pay this, I got to pay this, got to do this, got to do this. The budget book, the whole 9 yards. We didn't, we went and did what we want freely. Some of us, when we were younger, we knew some things that we don't know that we had to learn how to do now because there's more people that spreads that goes into the pockets. So everything was different. Everything was different back then. Um, you felt softer, right? You took time out for yourself. You fixed yourself up. We talked about that just a few minutes ago. You smelled better, okay? Not baby vomit, right? Or baby poo poo, right? Or bust, right? And you felt alive. But somewhere along the way, life became survival. Life became survival. And survival changes people, especially women who spend years carrying emotional labor, caregiving, heartbreak, financial pressure, motherhood, disappointment, trauma, burnt out, and loneliness. And eventually, many women wake up realizing, I have spent so much time surviving, I no longer know who I am outside of it. And we don't see it as surviving. We don't see getting married, uh, having kids, buying homes, buying cars. We don't see that as survival. We don't. It's the life I've always wanted, right? These are my plans. I plan to be married. I plan to have children. I guess for me, I I don't think that was in my plan. And I'm not saying everybody has that in their plans. Please do not think I'm saying everybody has that in their plan. But majority of us, we're taught that those are the things that make us us. That's how we become validated to society, validated to our families by having a family. But what I've known now, that a lot of people are opting out. A lot of young men and women are opting out. Because I believe a lot of young people nowadays have paid attention to their parents and how their parents interacted and how their mother looked like the glow she had when she was younger is gone. That the husband or the father, the youthfulness he had is gone. They're back and forth to doctor's appointments. They're in and out of the hospital, right? They're resting more. And you watch them struggle. You watch them sit down at the table together and pick out bills that they can pay and bills that they're going to have to put back in. You heard mom's conversations on the phone talking to the bill collectors. Survival. You heard your dad having conversations with his friends about the economy, about the political side of everything. You've had you've heard these conversations. And so some young people grew up and said, I don't want this. Oh no. Mm-mm. Mama having to make a choice on buying us sneakers and clothes just to make sure all the bills paid. Oh no, no, no. They do not want to, and we're upset. Some of us are upset with our children because they don't want to have kids or they don't want to get married. That's crazy. But because our parents were indoctrinated to believe this is the life. And what the younger people are realizing when they watch their moms, this is not what I want. I don't want to be unhappy. I don't want to be sad. I want to enjoy life. So they're really opting out of the motherhood wife thing, right? And we have to respect them for that. We can't get upset about it, right? So that realization can feel heartbreaking because identity loss is a grief people rarely talk about openly. And some people don't realize that it is an identity loss when you lose yourself. Where are you? And sometimes you have to look in the mirror and say to yourself, where are you? Where are you? So, before we get started, um, um, yeah, before we get started.
I heard you say you're tired, like every color is drained away. Mornings feel like mountains, even breathing feels like weight. I know that kind of quiet, where every thought cuts to the bone. But you are not your worst days. You're more than what your head has shown. You have so much to live for, more than you can see tonight. There are laughs you haven't laughed yet, hands you haven't held that tight. You have so much to live for, even if you can't believe. So when you feel like letting go, lean on me and stay and breathe. There's coffee with a stranger who might turn into a friend. A song you write at midnight that you'll never want to end. A road you haven't driven, where the rain lets down its guard. A day you'll finally tell yourself, I made it this far. That's hard. You have so much to live for, more than you can see tonight. There are laughs you haven't laughed yet, hands you haven't held that tight. You have so much to live for, even if you can't believe. So when you feel like letting go, lean on me and stay and breathe. You don't have to be the strongest, you just have to stay one more day. We can sit here in the silence till the dark gets bored and fades away. You have so much to live for, more than you can feel right now. There are tears that turn to smiling. You'll get through this storm somehow. You have so much to live for, even if you can't believe. So when you think it's all been said, I'll be here. Just stay and breathe.
There comes a moment in every woman's life when she realizes something inside is changing. The life she once accepted no longer fits. The silence she once tolerated becomes too heavy. The dreams she once buried began to speak again. Across the world, women are questioning everything they were taught about who they are supposed to be. They are rebuilding, they are redefining, they are rising. Rooted in Rising Radio is where those conversations began. This is a space for truth, a space for courage, a space for women who are ready to reclaim their voice, their power, their purpose. Here we talk about healing, identity, business, faith, reinvention, and the real journey of becoming the woman you were always meant to be. If you're in a season of transformation, if you feel the pull toward something greater, if you know deep inside your spirit that you are meant not to play small, you are not alone. You are not behind. You are simply between seasons. Welcome to Rooted in Rising Radio, the sound of women rising.
All right, we are back. We are back again. Welcome to Rooted in Rising Radio. Earlier, we had a little scare, not a scare, but the lights went out because it's storming here. It's kind of calmed down for right now, but it's thundering. I hear the thunder out. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to talk about the quiet disappearance of self. So what do you mean by the quiet disappearance? I'm still here. We're talking about the self, the person that's inside here. This is why I always say it's good to have a mirror, because a mirror it reflects back to you who you are looking at. I said earlier I was watching the way women, I said I start watching women's faces, a lot of them in deep thought, a lot of them are just trying to, you can see the survival on their face. When they're, not to say I'm mind reading anybody, but I do notice how, and I've been doing it a lot lately, is watching the way people's expressions are. Because I think that's important. I really do. So, and for me, I think one of the saddest things that can happen to a woman is when she loses herself. And it's not that she's doing it on purpose, because she's not. She's going through. She's lifing, what we call lifing. We have made survival such a quote unquote bad word. And because we've made it a bad word, so we found another word to use. We use the word lifing. When someone says, well, how are you doing? I'm lifing. Lifing is lifing. So we take away from the ideal of saying survival. Obviously, we as humans always come up with something to kind of cover something else, right? For some reason. I do not know why we do that, but we do that. It's not a outright disappearance that we do of self. We quietly, methodically start to disappear. And we disappear slow, and we do it beneath responsibility. We do it um, mm, mm, mm. I'm trying to make sure I'm saying this correctly. So when we say we do it beneath responsibility, the woman we once was, right, who had dreams, aspirations, becomes the person that now is just surviving. Again, lifing. Surviving and lifing is the same thing. The woman who once felt emotionally connected to herself becomes emotionally numb. Just going through the motions. She's living. She's getting up every morning. She's going to work. She's before she goes to work, she has to get the kids up, get them on the bus, or even drive them to school, right? Some kids don't get free lunch, so she's got to make sure the lunches are made and put together, right? She's got to make sure the honey's up so that he can get off to the job, just like she's working. She gets a call at work. Once she gets to work, she has a pile of work to do. She gets to work and she gets a phone call. One of the kids are sick. So now she has to leave work, right? And go pick up the child, take him to urgent care, take her to urgent care, whatever. Because you don't always just take them home. You want to see what's going on before you take them home. Then you have to see if grandma or grandpa is available because you've got to what? You got to go back to work, right? Now, in that timing, what has happened? Probably some more work done piled up on her. So she doesn't want to get her husband because she doesn't want to mess with her husband. She's going to, do what she's naturally doing. So she drops the baby off, the child off, once you leave the urgent care, which you spent 3 or 4 hours at. Get the baby home, get the child home, but you're not taking them home. You got to take them over to grandma so grandma can watch them till one of you guys get off from work. That's her day. Because she's still got to go back to work because guess what? She missed about 2 or 3 hours that she's got to make up for. So she finds herself calling the honey and say, hey, I got to catch this work up. I cannot come home. Today I'm not coming home on time. I'm going to be late. So guess what she does? She stays and obediently do the work, get it all finished. By the time she gets home, it's time for bath, bed. Now, during that time, dad's come home on time. So she has to make sure, I know it sounds crazy, but she does. She has to make sure that if there was any homework done, that all the homework is done. Now, she's exhausted, but her day doesn't stop because now it's in the nighttime. She's got to make sure all the homework is done. She has to make sure all the lunches are done, right? And ready to roll out in the morning. She's got to make sure all the clothes are ready to roll out in the morning, right? Because she's got to get up and do this all over again. And she has to get up about 6 o'clock in the morning because she has to make sure everybody's out the door by 7:30, 8 o'clock. And this is a routine she goes through to there in the 12th grade. And during all that time, little by little, it's whittling away from her. You can see it in her face. You can see it on her body. That she's lost this vibrant young lady she used to be. Carefree young lady she used to be. The one who goes shopping, buys new shoes. Her and her friends talk about it. They hang out. None of that is even plausible because her day is full, right? The woman who once felt hopeful becomes exhausted. And the frightening part of this, it's often gradual. I told you, gradual. It's often gradual that women slowly but surely do not want to deal, do not want life to be lifing all the time. And that's why I think a lot of young women are opting out of marriage. They watched their parents, they watched their mother go from this young, vibrant lady to this lady who's she's a shell of herself because she's lost the light in her. And that's important. So gradually, that many women do not even realize they are disappearing while it's happening. And we don't. We do not realize it at all because this grind we're on. It's like we're on a big wheel, like a what do you call those things? Not a chipmunk. What is it? A guinea pig. You know how you have the little wheel for the guinea pig and he's going around and around? That's his exercise. That's how the cycle of life is over and over again. Each child you have is another cycle of life. And little by little, you're being drained. You're being drained over and over and over. A hamster wheel. Thank you. So it's like you're on this hamster wheel and it's going over and over again and nothing changes. Nothing. The change is you're losing yourself. You're losing who you were. And I will tell anybody, take time out and look at your mother. If you're young and you're in here, look at your mom and go back and pull out some of her pictures when she was younger, before she met your dad. If you can find some pictures of your mom before she met your dad, and look at how she looks there. Just kind of stare at it. I'm that type of person. I like to dig inside. Look inside. Look at her, and then look at her after she got married. Look at her from the time you were a baby all the way up to you now, and look at the change. It's not always about age, right? It's not always about, well, age. No, it's about what's inside of her. Even having conversations with her, you'll see her conversations change down through the years. I've seen it so many times when people I know that I've watched while they were young. When I was young, I watched them as they gradually, and their kids get big along with me, and how their faces change, and they find themselves like a zombie going through the motions, just going through the motions. The love is gone because he's sick majority of the time. So she winds up being what? The caregiver and the caretaker. So what she used to be is no longer there. Because now she's having to take on a role. Not to say, because we're being, again, indoctrinated and pushed that till death do you part, through sickness and health. A lot of people take that literally. Really, they do. So no matter how you feel, as long as you're there for that person, because we've been taught we're supposed to take care of everybody and not take care of ourselves. So there is a big difference in how we're viewed in life when things are. I've seen people I worked with, co-workers. It was so funny. I worked at a VA hospital, and I know, like, I worked with a lot of nurses, right? And from time to time, I go to my appointments. And some of the nurses that I remember used to laugh and smile, and I'm like shocked at some of them. And I'm not just saying, I'm like, oh my God, what? Because I can see that life has been lifing them, going through the motion day in, day out, year after year after year after year. And slowly but surely, the spark they used to have is gone. The ideal of being that nurse that you can go laugh and joke with, gone. Even some of my former coworkers, gone. So please do not tell me that we do not lose ourselves as women inside of all the things that we do. We do because we've been taught, okay? We've been taught to do these things. We've been indoctrinated. The whole nuclear family, live this way, have a husband, have a wife, all of that, you guys. We have been fed. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it without saying it in a sense to be disrespectful to anybody. I just know that marriage is not for everyone. And it shows in the way people react to marriage. It's not. It's not meant for everybody. And being a married person, I can see that. It's not for everybody. And if you feel the need that you have to get married because your girlfriend got married, because your sister got married, because your auntie got married, because, stop that, you guys. Stop putting yourself through that dramatic change that you don't have to have. Because a lot of things we do it because society tells us to do it. Sometimes we just don't listen to our own selves and know that it's not something we should do. But because we're so caught up in society and what mom and dad and sister and brother did, we have to do it. No, be that black sheep. Stand out. You don't have to do what everybody else does, especially when you're not ready to do it. If you have a sense of freedom, use your freedom. Enjoy your life. It does not have to always be with somebody else. I'm serious. If you learn to love yourself and enjoy being alone, whether you have somebody or not, you're going to still survive. But because we are so I gotta have somebody. I gotta be with somebody. My girlfriend got somebody. Why can't I have somebody? Why can't I be loved by somebody? I know my husband is coming. That when I hear women say that, it makes me cringe, right? Coming from a married woman, right? That makes me cringe. I don't know why, but it does. Well, when God brings him to me, I'm going to be, when, I don't know why we do that to ourselves. And I know women who say that really mean that. They're not lying. They're saying what's in them. I can't wait till mine come along. And he got to be this and he got to be that. And you don't even have the slightest idea what you want. We as women, come on, let's confess. We have issues with knowing what we want when it comes to men, right? So you're saying you want Prince on a white horse that's going to put you in a big white house, a mansion, and all this. In reality, that's not always the answer, sweetie. That's not going to make you happy, even though you think you're happy, because this is what we're talking about right now. People who have taken on responsibilities under the impression that life is going to be so much better when I get married, because we've been fed that. And then we slowly but surely start to regret by saying, I missed who I used to be. Something to really think about. Really. Okay? So in this process, we're too busy taking care of everybody else, like I said earlier, handling crisis, like I gave you as an example, surviving emotionally. Wow. Staying strong for everybody because you're carrying in everybody's problems. Like I just told you about the kid. You didn't want to bother the husband at work because you didn't want him leaving. So you left work. You had to go back and catch up on your work. All of this is happening over and over and over again. And at the same time, you're functioning through all your pain. So, what's the pain? Doesn't mean I'm talking about a physical pain. I could be talking about emotional pain. The idea that your husband doesn't have time for you. He has time to go golfing. Wait a minute now. Hold up. Hold up. You wanted this life, remember? Remember? You wanted the white picket fence and the big pretty house. You wanted all this. But he has time for golfing and special trips he goes on with the job. And all you want to do is lay in his arms, watch a good movie, right? Like you used to do. But not only do he have deadlines to meet, you have deadlines because now you realize that one salary doesn't work. So both of us have to work. See, when the kids come, so what you first started out on the budget of one child, right? You, him, and one child, everything was working, right? But then you decide to have another child. The second child you had, the finances, we'll be all right. I'm going to get a promotion. But the promotion never comes. So now you have one child. Now you're on your second child. And the mathing ain't mathing because the budget ain't budgeting. So now, baby, we got to sit down and have a conversation. Now you're already struggling with the first child. Now you have the second child. So we decide that when they get two, you're going to have to go back to work, baby. Or you're going to have to go to work because you've been at home in your white picket fence and your apron on all this time. So now, because the one paycheck, the promotion never came, so now you have to go to work so the ends can meet. Because right now they're not meeting. So by the time you've struggled through the first and the second, and you decide, okay, we're bored. Let's just have another one. So then you're on the third child. Now you struggled because you're working and you're taking care of two kids. The promotion this time might come because it's in the air. So when you get the promotion, right? When he gets the promotion, you told, okay, so when he gets the promotion, when I get the promotion, baby, look, this is what I want to happen. You can stay at home. You can quit working, stay at home with with the third baby, right? And I just want you to rest. Well, guess what? And you're thinking, okay, so I'm going to be at home. I can kind of get things organized and I can do this. Guess what? The promotion came. It's a little bit more money. But guess what? You still were not able to quit your job. So now you're pregnant at work. And you're about to have the baby, right? Because now you're your third child. And these kids are right behind each other. Maybe 2 or 3 years apart. But you're going from diaper bag to diaper bag to diaper bag, right? So the cost of childcare takes majority of your check, while his check pays for everything else. Car insurance, if you have two cars, so that's two car insurance, house insurance, the mortgage. But wait. And I'm not saying this is everybody's life. I'm making this scenario up because I want to get to the point that you can understand how slowly but surely she's being withered away, because the responsibility is still on her, because she's what? The wife. She's the mother. She takes on everybody's problems, his problems, her problems, and the kids' problems. So slowly but surely, she's withering away. There's no time to be with her girlfriends. Well, girlfriends, shoot, the girlfriends are going through the same thing. Oh, I want to be married. Oh, I can't wait for motherhood. I'm just saying, because I've heard these conversations with women, and sometimes I have to, because I'm a talkative person, I'm very opinionated. I have to catch myself, like, okay, but to each his own. I'm not judging anybody, but you chose that life, and then when it's not lifing the way you want it to, now you don't want it. You want to walk away, but you can't, because now it's almost like you feel like you're trapped. I think of the tarot card, the Nine of Swords, with the lady with, she's bounded and she has the swords behind her and she has a blindfold on. She's trapped, but she's not even realizing she's trapped. That's what just came to my mind. Wow. Okay. Nobody notices that they're grieving themselves privately. Nobody noticed that, like I just said, she's trapped. She's trapped and she doesn't know what to do to get out of it. She doesn't necessarily just want to walk away, because then she has to worry about what other people think, because that's what we do. A lot of things for the attention. We do a lot of things for outside validation. So what would mommy think if I walk away? What will dad, what will family think? What will my friends think if I just say I'm tired, I don't want this no more, I'm walking away? They'll say I'm a bad mother, I'm a bad wife, but you're dying inside. So let's weigh what's more important. What's more important? You disappearing as a person, or staying in. And I'm not encouraging anybody to walk away from their families. Okay, come on. I'm not doing that. I am not encouraging anyone to do that. But I want you to think about yourself. And that's what I'm trying to get at. Walking away might not be the reason. I mean, might not be the solution. And I kind of mentioned that on my podcast, that walking away might be what you need to do at that very moment. Maybe what you need to do is heal before you walk away. Just want to leave that. Functioning is not the same thing as living, because when we're surviving, we are functioning. When we're lifing, we're lifing. We're not enjoying life. We're going through the motions and we're dying inside. And surviving is not the same thing as being emotionally there. Because it's like I said, and we're like zombies or robots. Get up every day and do the same routine over and over and over again. So we're going to take a break real quick here, you guys, and we will be back, Rooted in Rising Radio, just for you. Hmm.
almost got me caught up. Lip gloss on my backseat, laughing at a name on my phone. Like you didn't just text me last week. You said you can trust me, baby. Eyes bright, but your story bent. Had me halfway writing you alibis for things you never even did confess. She almost got me caught up. Heart in the crossfire, head in the hands. Had me losing my cool, my logic, trading my peace for the touch of her plans. She almost got me caught up, right on the edge of wrecking my home. But I saw the game when she slipped up, now she's scrolling my page alone. Yeah. You left hair ties in my car, wrong shade to be heard, you knew. Calling me at 2 a.m. while she's asleep in the next room. You said, why you always distant? Why you pressing on my bruise? Yeah. Had me practicing explanations for a crime you wanted me to choose. She almost got me caught up. Heart in the crossfire, head in her hands. Had me losing my cool, my logic, trading my peace for the touch of her plan. She almost got me caught up, right on the edge of wrecking my home. But I caught the tail in your small talk, now you're stalking my feet alone. You wanted chaos in my kitchen, voices raised, doors slammed shut. You wanted her to say my name like a curse that wouldn't cut. But I'm done being your storyline, your late night little plot twist. Pull back right before impact. You're just a number that I miss. She almost got me caught up. Heart in the crossfire, head in, had me losing my cool, my logic, trading my peace for the touch of her plan. She almost got me caught up, right on the edge of wrecking my home. Now I'm sleeping soft on a clean mind, and you're out there playing alone.
You're tuned into the station where women's voices lead the way, where truth hits different, where power sounds like us, and every story lifts the whole community. Beat drops, hype energy, turn it up, tap in, feel the ride, the sound of women moving mountains. You're tuned into the station where women's voices lead the way, where truth hits different, where power sounds like us, and every story lifts the whole community. Beat drops, hype energy, turn it up, tap in, feel the ride, the sound of women moving mountains.
Are we really gonna do this? You laugh, then you bite your lip. Have a drink on the table, have a promise we never said. My jacket on your shoulders, your head pressed into my chest. You say, I don't need a label, but your fingers won't let go yet. You trace circles on my head, like you're signing something big. Every line says maybe, but your eyes say this is it. Are we really gonna do this? This thing called love. Jump first, heart racing. Hope it's deep enough. us. Every ending that came too fast. I point at the open doorway, say we could always walk right past, but your keys drop in the bowl, shoes kicked off by the door. You say I'm kinda terrified as you pull me in once more. We're a question in the hallway, we're an answer in your grin. Every doubt says run away, every heartbeat says begin. Are we really gonna do this again? This thing called love. Jump first, heart racing. Hope it's deep enough. Are we really gonna name it? Say it out loud. This thing called love. Are we really gonna do this now? What if it hurts? And it hurts together. What if it fades? And we fight to remember. What if it's real? You say, what if it's us standing here, still scared, still choosing trust? Are we really gonna do this? This thing called love. Jump first, heart racing. Hope it's heart racing. Hope it's deep enough. Right here, right now. This thing called love. Guess we're really gonna do this now. You came in shaking, mascara on your sleeve. Said, tell me I'm not crazy. You could barely breathe. I turned the TV down so I could hear you breathe. Held all your secrets like they were mine to save. I was your safe place. 4 walls and a stolen t-shirt. You lay your head on my chest, let the world get blurred. You'd say don't let go, like a promise, like a prayer. I was your safe place till you left me there. You'd call past midnight, name burning on my phone. Swore you hated everyone, but never felt alone. You paced the hallway, tracing cracks along the pane, saying, tell me I'm not broken. I say you're just been not stand. I was your safe place. 4 walls and a stolen t-shirt. You lay your head on my chest, let the world get blurred. You'd say don't let go, like a promise, like a prayer. I was your safe place till you left me Now I walk that hallway, every shadow knows your name. If I was your shelter, why am I standing in the rain? I was your safe place. 4 walls and a stolen t-shirt. You'd lay your head on my chest, let the world get blood. You would say don't let go, then you vanished in the air. I was your safe place. Now it's just this empty chair. sunrise creeping through the blinds. Another day, another grind. My coffee tastes like yesterday's dreams. Nothing ever was, it seems. But tonight's different, I feel it in my bones. Yeah, tonight's different, I'm not alone. Stay until morning, don't you dare leave me forlorn. Stay until morning, let's greet the new day reborn. Stay until morning, forget the world's warning. Your laughter is a melody sweet, dancing barefoot on concrete. We talk for hours, no topic too deep. Secrets that only we keep. The moon is high, the stars are bright. Lost in this moment, lost in your light. Time is a river, we just float along, singing our own sweet song. Stay until morning, don't you dare leave me forlorn. Stay until morning, let's greet the new day reborn. Stay until morning, forget the world's warning.
You're tuned into the station where women's voices lead the way. Where truth hits different. Where power sounds like us. And every story lifts the whole community. Beat drops, hype energy. Turn it up, tap in, feel the ride. The sound of women moving mountains. You're tuned into the station where women's voices lead the way. Where truth hits different. Where power sounds like us. And every story lifts the whole community. Beat drops, hype energy. Turn it up, tap in, feel the ride. The sound of women moving mountains.
touch that by mistake. The last time, last time that you felt emotionally rested, the last time you felt creative, the last time you felt emotionally safe, and the last time you felt like yourself. Date, time, and location. Think about that. Just look, marinate on that. When was the last time you felt these things? It's like a freedom. It's like I can say and do whatever without feeling. And some women, when the children get older, when sometimes when a divorce does happen, or even when you're still in your marriage, right? There's a sense of freedom that that you want to get back and you can't get back because see, right in those areas in your life, that was where you were safe. You felt safe emotionally. You could feel certain things. But once, and I'm not saying, I don't want anybody to think I'm saying that marriage is so terrible for you. It's the worst thing happening. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying stop losing yourself in your marriages. I'm saying stop losing yourself in relationships. I'm saying the person you were before, do not allow that to change who you were before. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. You don't have to change unless there's parts of you that need changing. And how to, I don't know that, but I'm just saying in general. And this is why shadow work is very, very important. And we'll talk about shadow work down the line. I keep telling my listeners, we're going to talk about shadow work because I think it's coming to that point from these conversations and these discussions and these topics that I'm covering. Yeah, it's time for some shadow work because the healing starts with you, not anybody else. Nobody has anything to do with your healing, only you. And it's not about you blaming your partner, your kids, or anything about why you're like you are. You're responsible for you. That's why I said I have a mirror that sits in front of me. I am responsible for me. I can't blame everything on anybody else. I'm responsible for me. And we do it. We do it all the time. We always find somebody else we want to blame for the reason why. I'm fat because I had 5 kids. No. And I'm not saying that to fat shame anybody, but I've heard women say that. I can't get this weight off me because you're responsible for your own body. My hair won't grow because it's a lot of things we make excuses for. When reality, if you look in the mirror and look behind you, there's nobody there but you. You have to take control of yourself. It would be crazy for me to blame my 43-year-old son on my weight. If somebody said, wow, you're big. Well, my son got me like this. No, life got me like this. When I say life, I'm not talking about nobody else's life. I'm talking about me. Life. The choices I made got me like this. My lack of taking care of myself got me like this. And some people have illnesses and stuff. I get that. I'm not saying that. I'm not dismissing anybody's illnesses. I please do not think that's what I'm saying. I'm saying for my situation, I have bad knees. Yeah, that's not an excuse because there's exercises I can do that won't even affect my knees. I can't make that as an excuse. I have a bad back, but there's exercises I can do that won't put pressure on my back. Right? I can walk. slow, right? I can sit in a chair and do exercises. So my back is rested up against something. So I'm letting you know there's no need for me to make excuses why I could have a little poof out in the front, whatever they call that thing. I've never, what it's called. I don't know what it's called. But the little pouch in the front, that's me. I spread. When you get older, you spread. So what do? Keep spreading? No. You, if you're contented with your body, that's you. But everybody's not contented. And again, I can't blame nobody but me. I love to eat. I don't eat like I used to, but I love to eat. And a lot of things we do is emotional eating. It comforts. That's that fake emotion of comfort we get. That's fake. It's not real. And to get to your true self, you have to do the right thing with your bodies, right? And it's not just the outside of you, it's also the inside of you that needs to change because all of it is connected. Okay? So, because survival, consumes identity, because it does, especially when women are constantly expected to what? Endure, nurture, provide, perform, strength, remain emotionally available for everybody, and carry everyone else's needs, because that's what we keep going to all the time, taking care of everybody else. And eventually, women began existing almost entirely through obligation. That sounds like a people pleaser. They don't enjoy it anymore. There's no peace in it, no self expression, only obligation. It's the only thing. It's the only thing you get out of it, being obligated. I have to do this. I have to go grocery shopping for my sister. She broke her leg, but she has a whole husband. So why am I going over there to bring her groceries when she has a whole husband? Because I'm obligated to. Because I've already never set the boundaries. So it's expected out of me to step up and go take her groceries. Out of my busy day now, right? Or the day that I felt like I needed to relax and maybe get some time in for me. But my sister calls and I have to go bring her groceries, even though her whole husband is probably sitting right next to her watching a football game, or a baseball game, or a basketball game, or golf. With a big car outside in the driveway. I'm obligated. I'm just saying. This is what we do to ourselves, right? So let's have a reflective moment. So I'm going to ask you a question. And I want you to be honest with yourself. Not necessarily with me, but with yourself. Who were you before survival became your personality? Before exhaustion became normal, who were you? Before you became responsible for everyone, before life hardened you, wow, before life hardened parts of you that once was soft. Mm. And many people can't answer that, right? Like right off the bat, like I just said, they can't do it. I want you to understand that is not failure, okay? Nowhere near failure. That is considered emotional exhaustion. When you start to break down those questions and kind of put them in perspective, some people can say to me, well, that was 10 years ago. That was when I first got married. That was 5 years ago. That was even 2 years ago. Well, wait a minute. That was a month ago. When you can start putting dates and time and locations to what you're talking about, what we're talking about, that lets you know that is identity buried beneath your survival. So, whatever you answered in those questions, and I want to give them to you again. Who were you before survival became your personality? Before exhaustion became a normal thing? Before you became responsible for everyone? Before life hardened parts of you that once was soft? Answer those three questions, and that's where the real you has been hiding and has, when we're talking about now that you've taken on the identity of survival. So I'm going to leave you there with that just for a moment. I want you to marinate on those things. Just for a moment.
Don't know how to start this. Tell me where your heart is. Mine's been torn apart since I found out the hard way. It was never my way. I was trying to make you love me. Baby, why'd you come here? I can't make it so clear. Tell me, what do you hear? I'm screaming on the inside. It's been a hell of a night. I think I should go. I need to be alone. Just leave me alone. I need to be alone. Just leave me alone. I need to be alone. Just leave me alone. I need to be alone. Just leave me alone. I need to be alone. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I need to be alone. Just leave me alone. You kept the gate too tight, hands on every swing. Told the little wild hearts how to sit still and sing. Names in a row, all neat, dust on their shoes. But the grass grows crooked when you cut the roots. They got their own sky, their own way to fly. If you love them right, you don't clip the line.
Don't hold them back. Let them be free. Let them run hard. Let them be free. Break that chain. Open that door. Don't hold them back. Not anymore. I saw a boy with chalk, drawing maps in rain. I saw a girl on a porch, calling out her own name. You can build a fence, but you can't build a soul. Every seed knows sun, every heart knows a road. They've got their own sky, their own way to fly. If you love them right, you don't clip the line. Don't hold them back. Oh, let them be free. Let them be free. Let them run hard. Let them be free. Let them be free. Break that chain. Break that chain. Open that door. Open that door. Don't hold them back. Not anymore. Maybe they fall. Maybe they climb. That's how they learn what's truly mine. I'll stand aside, hands open wide. Love is a field, not a cage to hide. Don't hold them back. Don't hold them back. Let them be free. Let them be free. Let them run hard. Let them be free. Break that chain. Break that chain. Open that door. Open that door. Don't hold them back. Not anymore.
There comes a moment in every woman's life when she realizes something inside is changing. The life she once accepted no longer fits. The silence she once tolerated becomes too heavy. The dreams she once buried began to speak again. Across the world, women are questioning everything they were taught about who they are supposed to be. They are rebuilding. They are redefining. They are rising. Rooted in Rising Radio is where those conversations began. This is a space for truth, a space for courage, a space for women who are ready to reclaim their voice, their power, their purpose. Here we talk about healing, identity, business, faith, reinvention, and the real journey of becoming the woman you were always meant to be. If you're in a season of transformation, if you feel the pull toward something greater, if you know deep inside your spirit that you are meant not to play small, you are not alone. You are not behind. You are simply between seasons. Welcome to Rooted in Rising Radio, the sound of women rising.
All right, we are back here on Rooted and Rising Radio, our Saturday morning show. It looks like it kind of cleared up a little bit out there, just a little bit. So now we're going to talk a little bit about women grieving themselves. We just talked about how We've lost ourselves in the things that we do. The people, I talked about people pleasing. I talked about how all this connects together. So, and how losing our identity to survival, replacing everything with a whole nother thing, which is lifing, or what we call, it's not even living, it's lifing, surviving. Um, our identity has been buried underneath all the things that we felt like we're obligated to do, being the nurturer, the caretaker, the emotional rescuer, the person who handled crisis, all of those things. So let's talk about now when women start to grieve themselves. There are women grieving themselves right now, right? Their softness, their confidence, their creativity, their joy, their emotional openness, their freedom, and most of all, their peace. And because this grief is inside, it's eternal, many women feel alone inside it, right? But grief is not limited to losing people. Sometimes grief is mourning versions of ourselves that disappear while trying to survive. Women used to be the woman planned to become, the woman who existed before heartbreak changed her, before the trauma train changed her, before the burnout changed her, before disappointment changed her. And maybe one of the most painful realizations many women face this: I spent so much time surviving that I abandoned myself in the process. That truth hurts. That reality hurts. That looking in the mirror hurts. But honesty is often where healing begins. When you can admit what is wrong with you out loud, doesn't mean to anybody else, but to yourself, that's when the healing really begins. If I say I'm an alcoholic, or I drink, right? And I'll say, oh, well, I only drink socially. I don't drink all the time. I'm not a big drinker. I make all these excuses, but you've watched me guzzle drink after drink. Every time you turn around, everywhere I go, I got a cup in my hand. And you can smell the alcohol on me all the time. I can put on all the beautiful, expensive perfume I want to. Um, but you can still smell the alcohol. If you've ever been with anybody who drinks or smokes, you understand that after a while, when they drink and smoke a lot, it's in their skin. They sweat it. So no matter if they're not smoking or not, it's already in their skin. You can smell it. The alcohol is already in their skin. You know exactly what type of alcohol it is. Because when they sweat, you can smell it. And I'm steady telling you, I'm not an alcoholic. Until I say, look in the mirror and say to myself, Salida, you are an alcoholic. And really mean what I say to myself, that's the only way I can say, okay, now I don't want to do this anymore. But until we get to the point where we want to do that, we're going to continue doing this over and over again. So you've got to figure out what you need to do to start healing. Crashing out is not the answer. Being angry with other people, because again, all of this does build resentment. But the resentment shouldn't be at anybody else. The resentment should be at you. You should resent yourself from putting yourself through all those different changes, right? Allowing people to use you, allowing you to be the doormat, allowing you to be the nurturer, because that's what we're supposed to do as women, being the one to save everyone. the resentment should be toward yourself and not toward the people that took advantage of you, because you opened the door for them to do that. And not everybody knows that's happening to them, because sometimes it can be disguised as love. It can be disguised, I need you. It could be disguised as so many things, and you don't even realize it until it's too late. Until you realize, golly, where am I? I'm not in this anymore. I'm just it's just my body. Me, myself, I'm not in this anymore. Because I've allowed people to constantly do this to me. I allowed them. Not that they just did it forcefully. No, you allowed it. You allow people to use you. You allow people to put their burdens on you, because it's part of the validation, it's part of the performance of trying to get love back. So when do you realize that all the things that you're doing is not bringing in happiness into you? When do that light bulb goes off and say, wait a minute, I'm not happy with this? 10, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 30 years later? It's never too late anytime. I'm just saying, when is it for you? You know. So let me say something this morning, or this afternoon now, because we're already almost 1 o'clock. Missing the woman you used to be does not mean she's gone forever, right? Sometimes parts of us become buried beneath the survival, which that's just some parts of us. It's not destroyed, it's just buried, which means with a couple shovels, it can be dug up, right? And healing is often the process of returning to ourselves slowly. That's why you have to look in that mirror and say, Salida, I am an alcoholic. It has destroyed my life, and I need to fix this. But piece by piece, moment by moment, boundary by boundary, truth by truth. And maybe the goal is not becoming who you once were exactly. Maybe the goal is becoming someone softer with yourself. I'm not saying beat yourself up because you're not the person you used to be. I'm saying little by little, that person can come back. Those pieces of you that you've buried while you're surviving can come back, can be revived, can be dug up. But you have to understand, you have to be emotionally honest with yourself, because sometimes that's hard for us, because we've been indoctrinated so deeply, we've been brainwashed so deeply that we don't realize that, right? Someone who no longer abandons themselves to survive, because life changes people. Pain changes people. But healing can reconnect women to themselves again. Not perfectly, but being truthfully. So keep that in mind. Now that you've heard that, we have a comment section. If you want to, I would like for you guys to leave a comment and tell me I'm going to give you these questions. Have you ever felt disconnected from yourself emotionally? And what part of you miss most? What do you think healing yourself would look like now? If you started the healing process, what do you think it would look like for you right at this moment? And if you really honestly think that this conversation, this discussion we had today really affected you and it did something for you, please leave a comment. Okay? Definitely leave a comment in there. And I just like to know, not to, you don't have to go deep because I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a therapist. I am a certified empowerment coach. So you don't have to share anything with me, but I do want to give you that opportunity. So when you write it down, you can see it for yourself, right? I want you to understand that these conversations, these discussions matter. And that's why every Saturday I will be talking you to death with these conversations. I will talk you to death on my podcast with these conversations. And I definitely talk my classes to death about these conversations. So if you want to, women of color, if you want to join my classes, I'm here on YouTube on Saturdays at 7:30 in a few hours, and Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. Okay. Um, I do a first Monday ritual, which is only done once a month, and that is by email invite only, because that is a very small group of women that I talk to, where they can actually be themselves when they need to, depending on what our conversation is going to be about. And then I do a AOC, a public access channel show I have. It's called the Empower Her Talk Show, where again, I talk all these things. So I'm constantly talking about these things when it comes to women. And that comes on Thursdays at 7 o'clock. What I'm going to start doing is probably also um, streaming that to my YouTube channel too, to this channel too. Um, yeah, I could do that. So that's what I spend my time doing because I definitely want us to be where we need to be. Okay. So I'm going to, I want to, I'm trying to, my brain just went blank. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. That's because my brain is always working. It's always doing something. So before we close, I want to do an affirmation with you guys. And if you want this affirmation, you can definitely write this affirmation down because I'll say it again. So, and you can do this more than once. So say to yourself, I am allowed to rediscover myself. I am more than survival. I deserve peace beyond responsibility. I deserve joy beyond obligation. I deserve rest beyond exhaustion. The woman inside me still matters, and healing is helping me return to myself again. So let's say that again. I am allowed to rediscover myself. I am more than survival. I deserve peace beyond responsibility. I deserve joy beyond exhaustion. The woman inside me still matters. And healing is helping me to return to myself again. You can go back and listen to this. I need to put that on my Facebook page. Definitely. Definitely. So, in closing, this is my soul note for closing. To every woman listening to this morning who misses herself, to every woman grieving the softness life forced her to bury, to every woman exhausted from surviving, I want you to remember this. You are not weak because life changed you. You are human. And survival may have buried parts of you, but healing can help you find those parts again. Slowly, gently, honestly. And because the woman you miss may not be completely gone, she may be simply waiting for you to say, hey, here I am. I want to come back. I want to be there with you. Right? She's simply waiting for the safe time, the safe spaces that she can come back to. She's waiting for rest. She's waiting for permission to exist again. So thank you for spending your Saturday morning with me, or Saturday afternoon with me. Oh boy. If today's show touched you in any way, like the video, subscribe to my channel, share this conversation. Definitely share. And you can also go to my Substack and subscribe over on my Substack. It's Salita McCall. And remember, stay rooted in truth. And I need you definitely to keep rising. I want you guys to have a great day. And thank you again.
Yeah. We know that road, we know that pain. Been in the sun, carried our names. Hands in the dirt, back broke down low. Stood they came for more, told us to go. But we learned to stand, learned to say enough. Heard our own footsteps heavy and tough. Freedom we will refuse to go back again. Freedom we will refuse to bend for them. Freedom we will refuse to the cotton field. Never again. Freedom we will refuse, and our voice won't yield. Grandma kept prayer folded in cloth. Mama kept fire even when lost. We planted songs in the dead of night. Now they grow loud, now they rise upright. If they want our labor, they can hear our cry. If they want our silence, watch it run dry. Freedom we will refuse to go back again. Freedom we will the cotton fields. Never again. Freedom we will refuse, and our voice won't yield. Oh, no, 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 no. One chain at a time, we tore it apart. One child at a time, we lit up the dark. Hear that thunder now, under our feet. We are the answer, we will not repeat. Freedom we will refuse to go back again. Freedom we will refuse to bend for them. Freedom we will refuse to the cotton fields. Never again. Freedom we will refuse, and our voice won't yield. Yeah.